Okay, good evening, friends. Here's our Sugya on Daf Nun Hey. There's a very beautiful Gemara on the bottom of Nun Hey Amud Aleph about reaching high levels, teaching Torah, and humility. The Gemara said, darshing the pasuk, Umi midbar matana, Umi matana nachaliel, Umi nachaliel bamais. And the Gemara darshan this pasuk that if somebody makes himself like a desert, which is hefker to everyone, the Torah will be given to him as a matana, like it says, and from the midbar, matana. And once it's given to him as a matana, he inherits Hashem. Shenemar umi matana nachaliel. And once he inherits Hashem, he's oila legedula, like it says, umi nachaliel bamais. And if he makes himself arrogant, Hashem will lower him. Like it says, Umi bamais hagai. Fine. So what does it mean to be, make oneself like a midbar that's mufkar lakal? What does it mean to be mufkar lakal? What exactly is this level to be mufkar lakal? So the Tosfos says, mufkar lakal, sheyeh melamed Torah lakal, to teach Torah to everyone. Likewise, the Rosh says, shu mufkar lakal, lilmoid Torah lakal, to teach Torah to everyone. But the Ran says, mufkar lakal, melamed Torah b'chinam lakal. The Ran adds one more thing, to teach Torah for free. For free. Now, what exactly is this madrega of being mufkar lakal? So we have a beautiful Meiri. The Meiri says, "Mi madregos hachachma," from the levels of wisdom, hachroina shem, and the highest among them, hu lashpia mechachmasa lezulasai, to cause to flow from your wisdom to others. V'hihi hama'amedes v'hamakayemes Torah leloimdeha. This is what really preserves Torah to those who learn it. Meaning, it preserves Torah in the one who learns the Torah. The one who learns Torah will have the Torah preserved in him if he teaches it to others. That by teaching it to others, the Torah will be preserved in the learner himself. And he quotes the Gemara in Nedarim Daf Nun Hey, this Gemara that we just read. So, when it says that Im oisa talmid chacham atzlan kemidbar shu mufkar lakol, the Torah is given to him as a matana. That means if a person teaches Torah to everyone, then the teacher will be given the Torah as a matana, and the Torah will be preserved in him. The Chasam Sofer writes in the Chidushay Chasam Sofer on Nedarim, Nirali, the reason why the Torah is given as a gift to the teacher, through the students, that he learns with them, and he makes himself ownerless like a midbar. Through that he is zoicha to understand and to achieve more than his natural capacity. The teacher is able to understand more than his natural capacity. Shakadosh Baruch Hu noisin le matana, Hashem gives him a gift. Umegalan le razei Torah, and Hashem reveals to him the secrets of Torah. Benasa kamayin hamaskaber, he becomes an ever a spring that becomes stronger and stronger. Ach efsher sheyasig hayoim v'yishkach machar k'matana amnas lahachzer. But you might say, says the Chasam Sofer, okay, this person who's teaching Torah, he will be given understanding above and beyond his natural capacity, but maybe he'll forget it. So it's very nice, it's a matana, but there's something called matana amanas lahachzer. Maybe he'll forget it. The answer is, it says, Nachalu Kel, that it's given as a Yerusha. A Yerusha has no hefsek. In other words, what are these levels? Matana, Nachala. Says the Chassam Sofer, Matana could be Matana Manas Lahachzir. You might forget it. Nachala is something that's never taken away. The Marsha says, let's see. The Marsha says, L'kach darshu ala Torah, kivan she'oisa adam atzah kamidbar, dahainu she'talmudai miskayim biyadai. By teaching, the Torah will be sustained in the person. V'hachi mufurz parakeh said, ma'avrin k'mash shekasav, le'el parak ein bein amudar, gabei Moshe, she'b'tchila ha'yolame Torah, u'meshakcha Moshe would start off learning Torah, and he would forget it, at shenitna loy b'matana, until it was given as a gift for Amar. And the Marsha says, once it was given to him, in this Iyun, it was preserved in him. And therefore, Nachlu Kel, someone who is Zoicha to this, is called the Nachlas of Hashem. The Iyun Yaakov emphasizes that the meaning of being like a midbar and hefker is just like a midbar is free, so Divrei Torah is always free. And then you're being noig like Moshe Rabbeinu, who was nohag ba toivas ayin, and he gave the Torah b'chinam. So then Hashem gives the person the Torah as a matana. You have a Gemara in Temura. The Gemara in Temura describes the relationship between the teacher and the student, and what happens to both of them. The Gemara says, "Rosh v'ish techakim nifkashu meir ene shneim Hashem." When a student goes to the Rebbe, and the student says to the Rebbe, Lamdeni Torah, if the Rebbe teaches the Torah, Meir Einei Shneim, God illuminates the eyes of both of them. God will make the wise person a fool, and the foolish person wise. That what preserves the Torah, both in the Rebbe and the Talmud, is his teaching to others. Says the Pelayoitz, it's not correct if Talmidei Chachamim don't want to learn with their children or with weaker students. In their eyes, they could be learning on a very high level, and now what? They're going to learn with a young person or someone not so knowledgeable or equipped to learn. Very often, a person could say, if I learn on my own, in one day I can learn many daf and many poskim and write a lot of Torah. But if I learn with Talmidim, I have to spend a lot of time until they review it, until they understand it. But, says the Pelayoitz, Mishamasav l'shem shamayim la'asos nachzorach liyotzreinu, someone whose actions are for the sake of heaven, to bring nachas to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, ki zet tzarach liyos kol migam aseinu b'zman chiyuseinu, which is our entire objective while we're alive, to bring nachas to Hashem, to spend our life bringing nachas. We would not pay attention to this. We would try to do that which brings Hashem more nachas. And it brings Hashem a lot more nachas ruach, to learn with your friend's son, or learn with one's own son, even Aleph Beis, which is Hevel She'em B'Chet, than for the person themselves to learn Negam V'Alais. Hashem has a lot more nachas when you learn with someone who's on a low level than if you learn on your own on a high level. And there's a time for everything, and L'fum Tzara Agra, and it's V'ahavta L'recha Kamoicha. Just like if you didn't have the capability of learning with your children, you would want others to have mercy on them and learn with them. So you need to have mercy on other people and teach their children Torah, especially someone who has no father. So that's the importance of learning with others. Rav Aaron Kotler, in the Mishnah Rav Aaron, he also discusses this drasha and being like a midbar to teach everyone. Because if you're mafkir yourself like a midbar, that reflects humility. And Rav Aaron explains further, teaching Torah is something that is the inheritance of the entire Klal Yisrael. And when you do something for the tayelas of the tzibur, you have to do it l'shem shamayim, for their benefit. And then it's effective. So, Rav Aaron basically says that if you're mevatel yourself to Klal Yisrael, to teach them, and you have no anoichi, you have no reality on your own, then you become like Klal Yisrael. If you're mevatel yourself to Klal Yisrael, then you are Klal Yisrael. So the Torah is given to you, because the Torah is given to the tzibur of Yisrael. So if you're mevatel yourself to the Jewish people to teach them l'shem shamayim, so you become subordinate to Klal Yisrael, the nation of Israel, so God will give you the Torah. That's who God gives the Torah to, the nation of Klal Yisrael. One last thing, the Netziv uses this halacha l'maisa for copyright law. Huh? In other words, let's say I have a chiddush. Do I own it? Let's say I come up with a chiddush. Or let's say you come up with a chiddush. Do you own it? Well, it says Hashem gives it to you as a matana. So then you own it. So let's say I say, wow, that was a nice chiddush that you said. I'm going to publish it now. Could you say, what do you mean you're going to publish it? It's my chiddush. I own it. I have ownership of it. You're not going to publish it. So the Netziv says there's a dichotomy. On the one hand, the one who says a chiddush, it was given to him by God as a gift, so he has ownership over it. But he's not entitled to tell someone else that they can't publish it. It's his, but he has no reshus to exert his ownership in a way to stop others from publishing it. By the way, that's not unanimously held. Many poskim say, yeah, I could stop someone from publishing it. But the Netziv takes from this Gemara Nedarim that on the one hand God gives it to you as a gift, and therefore it's yours. But on the other hand, it's not so simple. He says, you could be yesh lachgar. Does someone who learns Torah have the right to warn someone, don't teach my Torah to others. I don't want you telling others about it. L'chayra, you should be allowed to instruct others that they can't share your Torah. After all, you own it. Like the Gemara says in the end, it's nikreis al shemai. Like it says of a soira so yega. Like the Gemara says in Erevin, that, or in the Gemara Nedarim, that once it's given to you as a matana, nachaloi kel. Like the Gemara said in the Dharm earlier, first Moshe Rabbeinu learned the Torah and was forgotten until it was given to him as a matana. Once it's given as a matana, you don't forget it. And then nachaloi kel, they help a person be mechadesh in Torah, so it becomes his nachala. So that which means, if it's my chidushim, I could say, I'm only giving reshus to my children to publish my chidushim. After all, it's mine, so I could instruct who has the rights to publish it. So l'chayra, if I wanted, I could instruct, no one could publish it. But it says in the Tziv, upon further analysis, this is not so. It's only yours that you could say, I'm giving it to so-and-so. But to say, I'm not giving it to anyone, I can't do that. Because I have a mitzvah to teach it and not to hide it for myself. It's like the truma of the bailam. It's like truma. I own the truma. It's my truma to give it to whoever I want, but I can't say I'm not giving it to anyone. Truma is the ownership of the owner of the field. But he only owns it that he could give it to whoever he wants. But he can't say I'm not giving it at all. Which l'chara would indicate that a person could say, look, it's mine, and I don't let you publish it. I want to publish it. Right? In other words, there is proprietary ownership on intellectual property in Torah. I could say, it's mine, and I want to publish it. Or you could say, it's yours, and you want to publish it. Or you want to teach it in your, according to your stipulations. But to say, it's mine, and I don't want anyone to, I don't have rights over that. It's analogous to Truma. V'hachenami kedushas haTorah da'afagav denikreis al shemai shel haMechadesh. It's called by the name of the Mechadesh. V'hi nachalasai, to give it to whoever he wants. But that's only that it should not be lost, and it should not be batel. But to make it that no one has rights over at all, you have no rishus. It's against the Torah. You're mechuyev l'lamed la'achirim. Even though a lot of chidushei Torah from many generations were lost, they unfortunately did not have this chus to teach it to others. But even Nevi'im, the Gemara says, many Nevi'im were not zoicha that their nevuah should be given over to the Dairais. But to say, these are my chidushim and no one could look at it, you don't have a right to do that. But you could say, they're mine and I want to disseminate it, according to my conditions. That you could do. Okay, Rabbi Isai, have a good night. Bracha v'atzlacha. Kol tov.